This video will present 8 betting picks for Week 16 in the NFL. But first, let me address last week's results. Ouch! We had a rough week with 6 wins versus 10 losses against the spread in Week 15. As they say, all good things must come to an end, right? That was also true when it came to the famous weekly NFL LOBSTER bet, which corresponds to the absolute best wager of the week according to my analyses. We took under 42.5 in the Miami-Pittsburgh game, which seemed to be an easy winner when 3 points had been scored with 30 seconds remaining before halftime. However, the impossible happened. A total of 43 points were scored, which beat our bet on under 42.5. That means our record with the weekly NFL LOBSTER bets since the very beginning now stands at 17-7-1, a 70% winning percentage. If you wish to grow your bankroll once and for all, that is the #1 product on the market right now. Follow the link in the comments below to sign up for the very best wager of Week 16 in the NFL. Stop losing money now. As always, this pick also comes with a money-back guarantee, so you get refunded if the prediction loses. I'm Professor MJ, Bookie crusher since 1999, and a former 15-year university statistics professor. Are you ready for good NFL picks? Let's go! The winner of the Packers-Bears matchup will be in the driver's seat to win the NFC North Division. Which team do I believe is going to win this contest? After doing my due diligence, I am backing Green Bay to win straight up. But I cannot say I'm overly confident about this play. First, I am worried about the fact that the Packers will be on the road for the third time in a span of 4 weeks. Also, Chicago has the revenge factor on its side, since they will be looking to avenge a 28-21 defeat from 2 weeks ago at Lambeau Field. Still, I'm going to support Matt LaFleur's squad. The Bears have posted a superb 8-2 record against teams whose record is 500 or worse, but they are just 2-2 against good teams. In fact, the combined record of their 14 opponents this year is 78, 116, and 2, a low 40.3 winning percentage. I know the Packers just lost Micah Parsons for the rest of the season, which is a big blow to their defense. But that unit will be inspired to show they can do well without him. Chicago owns a perfect 7-0 record when they run for more than 140 yards, compared to 3-4 when they don't exceed this threshold. That is unlikely to happen against a stout Packers run defense. The Bears also have a few injury concerns. Rome Odunze aggravated a prior foot injury in the pre-game warm-up last week, and he seems unlikely to suit up for this match. Another wideout who was surging, rookie Luther Burden, has a chance to miss the contest. He is coming off games in which he was targeted 6, 6, and 7 times, his 3 best outputs of his career. He was getting more involved in the offense, but now he could sit out this pivotal game. Chicago leads the league with a +20 turnover differential, whereas Houston is +14 in second place. Such an incredible turnover margin is not sustainable in the long run. To me, Chicago's defense is a problem. They gave up 6.5 yards per play in the first meeting, and they could struggle stopping Jordan Love and company again. I will roll with the team from the frozen tundra to pick up the W in the Saturday night game. I have decided to take a stab at the Cleveland Browns +10.5 against the Bills. I find it super hard to lay 10.5 points on a team that's on the road and whose defense has been quite weak all season long. Buffalo's run defense has been particularly dreadful, so the Browns won't need to ask Shedeur Sanders to throw the ball 40 times in this game. They will rely on the ground game, which should find a way to move the ball while milking the clock. Moreover, the Bills will be traveling for the 4th time over the past 5 weeks. That's a lot of traveling. I also suspect that Buffalo could go through a letdown game after such an emotional victory in New England last week. After trailing 21-0, they stage a furious comeback on the road to beat their division rivals. This is not necessarily a high-confidence play though. Not only is Josh Allen playing like Superman, but don't forget about running back James Cook. The 4th-year tailback sits in 2nd place in the NFL in terms of rushing yards, only trailing Jonathan Taylor by 28 yards. Cook's 5.2 yards per carry average is elite as well. I am also worried about the fact that Cleveland's defense, which has been very solid for most of the year, has been wilting recently. Indeed, they surrendered 31 points to Chicago, 31 points to the lowly Titans, and 26 to the 49ers. Still, I believe Cleveland's defense will find a way to slow down Buffalo's offense enough to keep it within 10 points, especially with the Browns' offense putting some points on the board against a vulnerable defense. I am siding with the LA Chargers plus 2.5 points on the road against the Cowboys. Let's get the negative stuff out of the way first. Could the Chargers have a letdown game after obtaining a key emotional win over the Chiefs last week? Also, Dallas will be at home for the 4th time in 5 weeks, so they should be well rested. However, I like the Chargers to cover the spread here. They have won 6 of their past 7 games, thanks in large part to a stingy defense. That unit has squandered just 17.3 points per game during this stretch. Now, how do you stop the Cowboys' offense? By limiting the damage through the air, right? Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, and Jake Ferguson are quite dangerous. But LA occupies 1st place in the NFL in terms of passer rating allowed, so they match up well against Brian Schottenheimer's team. It is also worth noting that Prescott has thrown just 1 TD pass over his past 2 outings, and their defense just gave up 34 points to an offense led by JJ McCarthy. In terms of defense, the Chargers have a huge advantage, so let's go with LA plus 2.5. Disaster struck in Kansas City last week. Not only was the team officially eliminated, but QB Patrick Mahomes suffered a serious injury that ended his season. Sure, the team may be deflated after those events, but personally, I see them fighting for their star QB. They will want to prove they can win without him. I have no doubts that Andy Reid will find the good words to motivate his squad. Plus, the Chiefs are facing possibly the worst NFL club. As you can guess, I am supporting the Chiefs from a betting perspective this Sunday. More precisely, I am taking KC minus 3 in Tennessee. The Chiefs still have more talent than the Titans on both sides of the ball. Gardner Minshew has a lot of experience, so he won't be overwhelmed this weekend, especially against such a bad defense. Meanwhile, defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo likes to eat rookie QBs for breakfast. He will have a sound plan in place to stop the Titans. Let's go with the Chiefs minus 3. We have a critical match in the NFC South Division that will take place this Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. The Bucs and the Panthers are sitting atop the division right now with identical 7-7 records. Which team will prevail? In my humble opinion, it will be Tampa Bay. From a betting perspective, I am grabbing the Buccaneers minus 2.5 points. Todd Bowles' team gets 3 extra days of rest and preparation after playing last Thursday. That's a pretty significant advantage. The team started with a 6-2 record, but they have gone 1-5 since the start of November. Can they bounce back this week? I believe they do. Last week, the Bucs led 28-14 over the Falcons. They were cruising, and they looked on their way to an easy W. However, Tampa's defense collapsed, and Baker Mayfield threw a bad interception. That will contribute to make Baker Mayfield more focused this week. The Bucs were hit by the injury bug a lot this year, but they are getting healthier and healthier, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Bucky Irving, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and Jalen McMillan all missed significant time with injuries, but they are all back now. I could see Tampa's offense getting a lot of success until the end of the 2025 campaign. On the other side, can we really trust Bryce Young in a big game like this? I'm not so sure. One week he looks great, so we think he has finally turned the corner. Then the next week he looks awful. You don't know what to expect from him. Since week 7, Carolina has alternated between a win and a loss every single week. Baker Mayfield has established himself as a true warrior who will do whatever it takes to get the win. That's exactly what he's going to accomplish this weekend, so I will go with the Bucs minus 2.5. Most sportsbooks are tagging the Broncos as 3-point favorites, but I have decided to look at the alternative spreads to take Denver minus 2.5 against Jacksonville. That's my pick on this great AFC matchup. To me, this is a good matchup for the Broncos. Jacksonville's offense has a lot of weapons in the passing game with Brian Thomas, Jacoby Myers, Parker Washington, and tight end Brenton Strange. But Denver has an elite secondary featuring Patrick Surtain. Can the Jaguars run the ball efficiently against the Broncos? I'm not so sure. In recent weeks, Travis Etienne only picked up 32 yards on the ground against the Jets and 28 against Tennessee. And his backup, rookie Bashal Tutin, is out with a broken finger. Meanwhile, I don't think Jacksonville will prevent Denver from scoring at least 24 points. Bo Nix was rock solid last week by tossing 4 TD passes against a stingy Packers defense. He has cut down on the interceptions with just 1 across his past 4 games. Granted, the Jaguars have been red hot. They are currently riding a 5-game winning streak that involve winning by an average margin of 19.8 points. That's impressive. Ultimately, I am still taking the Broncos minus 2.5, but this is not one of my favorite bets of the weekend. I am banking on the fact that the Lions will beat the Steelers by a margin of 7 points or more. For this reason, I am taking Detroit minus 6.5. My biggest concern is Detroit's secondary. They have struggled to stop opposing QBs since suffering many key injuries to players like Kirby Joseph, Terrion Arnold, and Brian Branch. If you focus on Detroit's past 4 matches, they have allowed an average of 336 passing yards. Still, I will support the Lions in this spot. Aaron Rodgers is not lighting up the scoreboard this year, and Pittsburgh's defense is likely to struggle a lot defending Detroit's offense. That will be especially true if TJ Watt misses the game. His status remains unclear at the moment, though. Here are a couple of trends that might convince you to bet the Lions. Number 1, the Lions are a perfect 5-0 this season following a loss. Number 2, all 8 wins by Detroit this year have been obtained by a margin of 7 points or more. Do you need more evidence? Alright, let me continue. The Steelers will be playing on a short week since they played last Monday night. They are not great in any areas of the game. In fact, they are average across multiple metrics, both on offense and defense. Jameson Williams is carving up a bigger role in this offense. He has stepped up his game lately. Did you know that he has accumulated 88 receiving yards or more in 5 of his past 6 outings? He has made many big chunk plays, which helps free up his teammate Amon-Ra St. Brown. So all in all, I am definitely taking the Lions minus 6.5 against the Steelers. Here comes another awesome matchup. The Patriots will be traveling to M&T Bank Stadium to take on the Ravens. What is the best bet to make here? In my humble opinion, the answer is Baltimore minus 2.5. Should we start worrying about Drake May? Sure, he is having a spectacular second year as a pro. No doubt about it. But he has now been the victim of an interception in 5 of his past 7 contests. Also, he failed to deliver in the clutch against the Bills last week. The Patriots grabbed an early 21-0 lead, only to fall apart in a stunning 35-31 loss. Drake May just could not find a way to put the final nail in Buffalo's coffin. Let me also remind you how soft New England's schedule has been thus far. The combined record of their 14 opponents is 73-123, a poor 37.2% winning percentage. In fact, only Pittsburgh and Buffalo own a positive record among all teams facing Mike Vrabel's team this year. I also believe that the Ravens will be more desperate. They are literally playing for their playoff lives, whereas the Patriots are almost guaranteed a postseason spot. Baltimore's defense impressed me a lot last week. I cannot believe that they found a way to shut out Joe Burrow and company in Cincinnati. The Ravens' defense has talent, and they are getting healthier, so they could finish strong. Baltimore's offense is good on paper. They have not been at their best for sure, but they could break out at any time. Perhaps facing the team whose red zone defense ranks dead last in the NFL will help? I think so. For all of these reasons, I love the Ravens as 2.5-point favorites. That is one of my premium picks of the week. Such high confidence betting tips are all shared at mjpicks.com across all sports and leagues if you are interested. Just sign up at mjpicks.com so that you can grow your bankroll with us. Alright, we have covered a lot of picks in this video. Now it's your time to take action by subscribing to the best sports betting product on the market, the weekly NFL LOBSTER bet. In short, what is the absolute best bet to make this week? That's exactly what this product is all about. Remember that we own a rock-solid 17-7-1 record on such high-confidence plays since the very beginning. All you need is a modest $29 investment, which is backed by a money-back guarantee clause. Let's continue destroying the sportsbooks together so that we can earn extra money that our respective families can enjoy. I'm Professor MJ, proud dad of 11 and 10-year-old boys from Quebec City in Canada. I am very grateful that you have taken the time to watch this video. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'll talk to you again very soon, my sports betting friend.